much for the questions. I think, Jacaranda, first, let me draw your attention that these interventions have yielded results and serious interventions at the level of government. After Minister Pravin Gordhan made a turnaround strategy, there were results that led to interventions, the same as other ministers, and including in the ANC, Nkosazana Dlamini report and so on, there were interventions. And to list a few, out of Nkosazana and also Minister Pravin Gordhan, we today have a district development model, DDM, which ensures that there is integrated approach and intergovernmental, strengthened approach in terms of local government. We've got a strategic support to municipalities on ESCOM debt. Once we had lost this social contract between government and the people, we then had a number of cases of this fallout between government and the people. If you look at the Soweto debt, the liability there was running into billions. And nobody's talking about the interventions that were made with regard to that. Everyone now forgets that there was intervention that was made with regard to ESCOM debt and also the question of liability, which is not totally resolved as we speak, but it was running into billions. Strategic support to municipalities on water board debt, the same has actually happened, because in the mentality of many, everything is for free, but we are victims of our own interventions. And I want to explain this proper. When we adopted the RDP, we cushioned the poor right from the onset. And then you will have 3,000 whatsoever free liters of free water. And people like elderly and all of that were completely cushioned in terms of basic services to our people. Now, these are policies that we have implemented that have cushioned the poor and our people at the local government level. Operation Vulindlela, local government reform, which is what we're doing now in a number of local government interventions in the country. eThekwini and Johannesburg presidential working groups. These things that are happening in the turnaround in eThekwini and Johannesburg, supporting municipalities there, it's not something that is happening on its own. It's because some intervention has been made and is yielding results. Strategic and smart partnerships, of course, with the private sector. This also have been implemented. Interministerial committee, municipal performance turnaround strategy, and the national strategic hub. The point I'm trying to address is that we are here today not to regurgitate. We accept first that here is the problem statement. We do have strategies. We do have plans. What we are doing, we are consolidating going forward to make these plans work. The strategic question we've had to answer from Friday is, we've got all these things for them to work and work faster for our communities. What do we need to do? Hence the plan, the action plan. We call it a war plan and all of that. How do we deal with all these issues that we've had to deal with? And we're now prioritizing water because it affects everybody. Urbanization and informal settlement and all of that is not going to stop. People are moving from the rural to the urban areas. And the law of the country says if you can set up shacks more than 50, we must provide you ablution. If overnight when we wake up, I'm not giving you ideas. You've got shacks, and then you name it after. I do have also a squatter camp named after me. And many other leaders have got squatter camps named after them, especially in Gauteng. And then that is it. Others, they assist these squatter camps and so on. Whenever that expands, it also increases the demand side of many other things that must actually happen. But government must deliver systematically and decisively when it comes to our communities. Tando, the SACP matter will be resolved between us and them. How it will affect us whenever we can't reach an agreement that they must not contest, we leave it to the voter. We can't answer it in the boardroom. And that is why we are not waiting for anybody. We are moving ahead in terms of doing what it is right. It is strange that when we say there are problems in local government and we attend to them, and we attend to problems, we attend to challenges, they say, why do you attend to them? Leave them. Leave these problems you see around you. Do nothing about them. Don't call your councillors in a roll call. Just sit and watch. Leave them. Leave the problem. We are not sitting and watching. We are doing something about the problem. The question that you need to ask, which I cannot dictate to you, respectfully so, is whether or not in the next 3 months this action plan will yield the results that are required. We are not saying to you and South Africans that we are coming with something new, Mitsubishi from Japan. It's the same problems. The question between all of us here who were gathered here and over the weekend is, yes, we've got these things. How do we move faster? What is the problem? Problem of service delivery characterized among others by governance. Some of our municipalities are not properly governed, but some of them are poor. There's no revenue connection. Pemi talks about the example of Khubsan, metro in the rural. Okay, everybody wants a metro. We have a metro in Buffalo City. Majority of people there are indigent and all of that. They rely on government policy and all of that in terms of social security net and intervention. And then they don't pay services. They are cushioned again by the government. Where government cannot move away from its responsibility is closing potholes, is removing refuse in the townships and anywhere else. That I can do it as a mayor every day. And we've said here to our mayors, why are you not removing this? Working with the communities. If you start something every Saturday in Mangaung, in Buffalo City, wherever we are in charge, I'm just mentioning these two because we are in charge there. As in Nazelani, a Buffalo City, Nasemangaung, Sipet. Okay? Apa eguruleni zingavela zichinchi izinto ngomso. Yego dada zingachincha. Leave alone the fact that now dada is a problem. ANC is a problem and all of that. Dada is a problem and all of that. But nobody says where was this municipality in the past 10 years? What happened since Putla left in Tshwane? And then the deterioration of the city under coalitions. How many mayors have we had in Tshwane? Under the DA government. With all what Sputla did and led there, you should have known that when we deployed Sputla in electricity, with what we did in Tshwane, that we're deploying a Ferrari there. That was not a TAS machine that we're deploying to push back electricity. And you shouldn't be shocked because of the track record of Sputla in Tshwane and his collective. It was good. And then we lost in the hands of the coalition. Change of mayors, election after. That brought instability. Because you can't hold one government accountable. Talk about the DA and everything, and in comparison to them and all of that, and so on. and the fact that somebody talk about benchmarking ourselves to the DA and so on, there's nothing wrong, like Sputa have said, to say that there is something good. If you maintain consistency and all of that in governance, you will wield the results. The same as when you maintain consistency in governance, we have seen in Johannesburg and in our big metros, you wield the results. Once there is instability, things change altogether. And that is what is happening. Now, you have had stability because there is governance and one party there over the years. Here, there's been interruption and all of that in Johannesburg and as well as Eguruleni and other places. And you will see the effects of that on governance. And you can examine that on your own. It's not scapegoatism on my part and the ANC to say that the problems that are there that must be addressed by the ANC, which works with other parties, but at the same time acknowledge the fact that coalitions also are not a positive story entirely in the governance system of local government. So impact of SACP withdrawal, we don't know. We can predict, we can say any other thing. For us, the SACP contesting elections is a principled issue. And ideologically, that we believe it is not something that is correct, they should do. But we are going to be engaging with the SACP on that matter. And if we don't find each other going forward, that question will be answered by the people on the ground as we vote. And that's what is going to happen. Moloko, potholes, etc., and so on. And why do we talk about this now? We have not been talking about this. Probably it's the first time that we emphasize this. In our plan, we're looking at everything, including what is not just what is an outcry. What are the challenges in terms of good governance at local government level? And these are a list of things that we believe that we need to attend to wherever we are in charge, where we are leading. And we need to account. Mask no difficulties. Our representatives, like we're standing in this press conference, a mayor of the ANC in Mangaung, in Buffalo City, should face people and say, this is what I've done, these are the challenges I face. Okay? And then people engage. And there's a lot of work that is happening there. And some of this work is basically distorted. And then it is imposed, this distortion, on these municipalities that are run by the ANC without any response on our part. So our leadership must respond to these questions. And they must also showcase the work that they are doing on the ground, like all other mayors do across the length and breadth of the country. We have many people with qualifications, and we train councillors, even those without qualifications, who come to be elected in municipalities. Let me explain to you. A person is elected a ward councillor because he's a community leader, but has not finished matric. I'm giving you an example. Or I've got matric, not post-matric qualifications. He's a councillor. He's doing a wonderful job in the community, and then is elected. That person must be empowered by the system. As the ANC, we have been training our councillors over the years, and we're still doing it even now. And then in the different municipalities. And our people and our councillors have taken education very seriously, linked to the areas of deployment. Somebody was deployed in council without post-matric qualifications. That person has got masters today in some of the councillors, and we can give you that record. We have a record where we actually do a study on our councillors and so on. And that study have revealed that most of our councillors are doing well when it comes to studies and uplifting themselves and empowering themselves. And that report in particular, today in the plenary closed session, was revealed by Gauteng Province, Comrade Hope Papo. I've answered Jacaranda, SABC, Barometer. How is it going to work? It's going to work in the sense that we are increasing our capacity to monitor our performance on the ground. And we're doing that through direct contact with the people, but also our councillors reporting through the digital platforms we have created on service delivery. So that is the barometer that we'll be using. And we will be able to tell you directly that these are the challenges of your community, and these are the things that in your purview you should be addressing, you can address, but you are not doing anything about them. Some of these councils, you know, they are poor and all of that. So from a budgeting point of view, they need to be assisted. A barometer, News 24, why after so long? Everything is done in terms of the action plan now, because we need to accelerate. The buzzword is accelerate, and at the same time do what is right to address the challenges of service delivery on the ground. Removal of people. Yes, we have realized that we take time. But let me also remind you that we have removed a lot of people in this country in local government. And we have also removed people and caused by-elections. In Tabazimbi, we did that. In Northwest, in Mpumalanga, we did that. So we have removed people. Nobody talks about ANC taking a decision because of poor performance and mismanagement at local government. We have removed people and caused a by-election. We went to a by-election in Mamusa, you remember? Some of you were there. Those who were interested to reach the far-flung areas as far as Mamusa, away from Joburg Lights. You know, we contested there and we won. In Mamusa, in Northwest. Because we removed councillors there. We removed councillors in Ditsobotla, but that problem still persists. We have done that in Mpumalanga. We went and contested and we won. We did that in Tabazimbi. President went for a big Siangova rally there. We won. We are not afraid to remove people with wayward behavior and all of that and cause a by-election if it comes to a push. So we are going to do that. So I'm addressing this question because you shouldn't say we are doing this thing now for whatever reason, but we have been doing it. Now, what we have recognized is the fact that there are instances where we could have taken a decision earlier, and then we have probably taken time to deal with that. So with this action plan, we are very much organized now. Let me give you an example. You report a problem about a mayor or a councillor. Our intervention team here will give us reports now going forward, empowered also with the barometer and so on. Here is a problem here. There are these challenges here. We think that partly the problem is leadership. How do we intervene? But when we intervene, it cannot be the same as before. Like what we did in eThekwini. When a mayor there was removed, we had to take a member of parliament and a member of the NEC and deploy it in eThekwini, Cyril Club, and redeployed that particular former mayor to Cape Town. Okay? That's what we are going to do. We have seen this model does work, and then we're going to be decisive. It is there in our plan of action. We're going to do it, and that's what we need to do. So you may be right, and we will admit that sometimes where there is clear problems, we have not been acting quite faster. I'm not talking about generated problems, because there are also such where there will be generated protests in order to cast aspersions as a reflection of the internal party issues in the ANC, and then cast aspersions on the mayor or a councillor or MMC and so on. We should be able to distinguish through our intervention. But over and above that, we should also be in a position, given the tools that we've got now, we're going to deploy, to take decisions independent of everybody and say, no, you need to be shifted from here to that particular point. It has happened even at national level. When we redeploy people, we don't tell them. You are told at that moment that you are redeployed. And then all what you can say, thank you to the ANC for giving me a chance. That's all what you can say. But we put people in your space to continue to actually lead. So the mandate from this action plan and the NEC is very clear that we must act and be decisive where we are faced with challenges. Brenda Fassi, what took us so long? No, it's not, and I think this question of why now is linked to elections. This is not an elections program. When we said we are dealing with load shedding, even on the doorstep of elections, and Sputla made announcements, they said, no, he's lying. They are just doing this thing for elections. I've seen some people on social media who said that, no, it's that time of the elections. Pemi said and explained interventions on water, and then they said, no, it's elections. But they've forgotten now. And I think questions are no longer coming to Sputla. The lights are on. Mabone Achubi. Now, the issue is no longer, we're not doing things, we're doing to serve the people. That's why the president said, this is not a party program only, it's a program for South Africa, for South Africans to be served by the ANC wherever it is in charge. Now, the lights are on beyond the elections. Beyond the elections, the lights are still on. And even water now, we have elevated water the same we dealt with the question of electricity. So we're going to be monitoring and supporting, working with Comrade Pemi and the teams and our local government in terms of the water crisis that we have on the ground. The mechanism for report back, newsroom, I think I've explained that. Or are you happy with that? What? A bite? No, I can do that on the side. I can give you the bite on the side. Okay. UFM, look, mafias must be taken on by communities and government. And ANC structures must participate in that. Okay? And then law enforcement must be an integral part of it. These cartels and mafias work even within the system of the state of law enforcement. They work with the police who are corrupt, and then because they benefit out of that. Sabotaging infrastructure is corruption. I was in transport. People cut the cables because they want to create demand. Because if I've got a company that supply cables to Prasa, and all of a sudden everything is smooth, the trains are running, and the tender is over, I'm going to create demand and then cut the cable so that I can also come back and properly. And I will be doing that conniving with others in the system to get the tender. That's corruption. So it can only work by way of protecting the whistleblowers, because they are good citizens in the state who are blowing the whistle, but they are not protected. So as we deal with mafia cartels, we must also deal with legislation to protect whistleblowers. It's very important. And that must be fast-tracked, because we have asked our people to work with us in the system to do away with these mafias. They do so, they get killed. Look at Tembisa. What happened? We're dealing with exactly the example I'm talking about today, that whistleblowers, at the end of the day, they have actually been killed, and so on. Criminals are brazen. People get accused for bribing about this and that. They bribe even journalists. We already journalists, you bribe, I see born bribe. And then when we see that bribe, you know, and then they run a show on TV. No, I didn't bribe anybody. A show. On television. No. Yeah, no. These people must be investigated. When you see the hawks surrounding a municipality, you must be hopeful that somebody is going to account and will be arrested, because somebody have blown the whistle from inside. So we must have our laws that protect citizens. We are going to win against these criminals and the mafias and the cartels. The developments we see in our country around commissions, may it be Mkwanazi or around it, and all of that, must encourage us to not to sweep criminality under the carpet. We must clean. And people who are good citizens have come to the fore and reported, but at the end of the day, they get killed by criminals. They are not protected. And then when you go to the police station to report, you must be careful of that. It was here. And then the poor person, once you leave the police station, you are dead. You leave your kids. We must then create a safe line. Criminals must be reported. And then so that we are safe and all of that in terms of the work we are doing. IOL, I don't know what you asked. What did you ask? You've been preaching the issue of dealing with corruption. But it's not your members are and also it seems also let me explain. Corruption is not perpetrated by ANC members only. The system is rotten in terms of tenders. And I know it's going to be a buzzword that Mbalula says ANC members are not corrupt. ANC is not a corrupt vehicle. I'm saying that. The fact that there is an individual who gets arrested and is corrupt among the deployees of the ANC, the system must deal with that person. Even more than the Constitution of the Republic. And we're still going to be strict, because ANC members are still saying, no, this step aside is insufficient. It's insufficient because you only step aside when you are arrested. You will remember where we come from, where we said once you are arrested is presumption of innocence. South Africans said that is not enough. And then we move a step further. We said once you are arrested, you step aside. We are now on step aside. They say that is also not enough. If you are on the side of the wrongdoing and all of that, there must be some other steps that are taken. Now, there's no decision of the ANC now that reviews the step aside where we stand today. But members of the ANC are edgy and society is edgy around that particular point. The ANC will review that as we go to the General Council and beyond. When I'm saying that, we are even way ahead of the Constitution, because indeed the Constitution says you are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Right? The ANC says even before you are judged, you must step aside from your positions. Even if you don't have a position, just participating as a member of the ANC, you are arrested. You are debarred from participating in the activities of the organization. It's not just linked to a position. It's not linked. If I happen to be an ordinary member now, and that is it. And now, there are people who are corrupt in the system of public service, and they are not ANC members. And they get arrested every day. You go to institutions of the state and SOEs. There are people who are corrupt there in the tendering system and everything and so on. They do wrong things there. But everything that happens in the state today is inextricably linked to the party. If some person has stolen money in a particular department, kutiwa this ANC. So what happens in government? In government today, in terms of corruption, is inextricably linked to us. That somebody goes, it is alleged, bribed a journalist, ANC. Simazela pitina lomdu bribe by journalist. Magabanjwe lomdu. I mean, this is what you journalists are showing us. Society is shocked. An element of brazenness and corruption in our society must be extricated once and for all by means of making examples about people who want to be made examples. That's what is important. As the party is concerned, as the ANC, we will act. We act, and we will act when it comes to acts of corruption. Why do we emphasize the point? We emphasize the point in local government because in local government, where we have not done well, you will find that when you go deeper, these are acts of corruption. And to a certain extent, it has affected our municipalities that we lead as the ANC. It is in our municipalities where people without the requisite qualifications have been found. This plan of action says that heads must roll. If we go to a municipality, you have employed a person who is a doctor, but a doctor because of theology, or a doctor because he specializes in health, but you have employed that person as a doctor for engineering services. First and foremost, that is mismatch of skills. Why do you do that? Secondly, you employ a person who does not have post-matric qualifications to run a municipality. Kanjani? That thing doesn't need a conference. Doesn't need anything. We are empowered by this action plan to say, province, can you ask from that mayor, why did you employ a CFO who doesn't have, don't ask Hambanaye, same time. How did it come that your municipality employed a person who does not have qualifications? It doesn't need an NEC meeting. It doesn't need ANC members themselves now, as we speak from this, let them blow the whistle. That I'm sitting here with people who are unqualified in my municipality, who are going to act. In the next 3 months, I will be standing here and giving you a report that we have changed so many people through our interventions in the municipalities. That's the report I'm going to give you when it comes to governance. No more rhetoric. That's what this plan says. No rhetoric, no slogans. How come in a municipality you employ a person who doesn't have qualification to mend a strategic position, and you expect that you will get out of the red, you will not get a disclaimer. Because lo mntu lo mos kumnyama ebusweni bengawo akazi lutho about books ne arithmetic sahamba kuyo kudala, but similela nangu umuntu uqashiwe managing the books, and then there is no problem, it's business as usual. Umeya nabantu bakhe bayaziqhubela nje kuyaqhubeka. So we are not just going to pounce on people on nothing. Service delivery, we expect our people, this is what this action plan says. Leave the offices, be on the streets with the people, don't be reactionary. Be proactive and lead from the front. That's what the marching orders are saying. If ever we have to deal with refuse, things and all of that, debt in the townships, we must lead from the front when it comes to that. And that's what is important in terms of this. So corruption, and all of that, we need to deal with that. And the action plan in itself, it is very clear. So this action plan, in conclusion, it is measured. We will account to the ANC after every 3 months. I don't know when is the next 3 months from today. November will be here, accounting about the implementation of this plan. We'll move to the next 3 months, to the next 3 months. Huh? Yeah, December. Yeah, that's what we are going to do. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we have done the studies. We do studies every day. Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah, no, I'm
whether you gave a good account of yourself in the metros that you have reclaimed. This is a simple question, whether you are proud of what they are doing.
We are proud of our performance and the work that we are doing. Don't speak on my behalf. There is work that is going on. No, let me explain. There is work that is going on in these municipalities. We will answer your question in the next 3 months about whether we are turning the corner, and there is work that is being done that can be seen out there. And this work, we will account about it after every 3 months, because it's not like there's no work that is not being done. There's a lot of work that has been covered. But we are overwhelmed by this thing that we are not doing anything. So we will give you an account on metro by metro, on municipality by municipality. There will be no roll call. We're going to give you in the next 3 months this performance. These councillors, when they leave here, they've got a clear instruction going down to their municipalities to put this action plan into place. We will give you the action, and we've got it. Matlengi will give it to you, and then you look at it and so on. It is measurable. It is not something new. It is consolidation of intervention in terms of the challenges that we are facing at local government. Thank you very much.